So these days, everything really stems from our families. Like we made it our family team mission. Like even our kids know it. That is to steward wisdom. That's how we make decisions about where we're going to spend our time. To steward wisdom. And we define that as to collect, protect, and multiply knowledge plus experience. Right? That's how we define that. So to steward wisdom. So my core business, Sell Your Smarts, is just an extension of that, of saying that the reality is the world is filled with billions of people who have spent decades acquiring wisdom in their field of expertise, whether that's helping people become healthier, wealthier, happier, to produce podcasts, to pick a random example. And whatever that is, right? So whatever those reasons are that they've spent all this time doing this, what most people do is at best they share that in one-to-one interactions with a handful of clients or team members or family members or friends. And then at some point they either are forcibly retired by death or they choose to retire, and that wisdom just fades and dies with them. And the rest of us are left just in the dark, grasping and trying to recreate the wheel from scratch. And it just drives me crazy. I don't like doing the same thing like twice and have it like start over from scratch every time. I like building off of things. And there's so many people that have so much experience. So if you're listening to this, if you've got at least a decade of experience in some field of your life, right? And so my core business is focused on helping you take that and to build a business around that. So to sell your smarts without losing your soul or your Saturdays. And that's been a lot of fun. I've done that for about 12 years now. When I started, it was just more about just like how to blog and how to make money blogging, but that world has changed a lot. So yes, over time, that's included courses and membership sites and podcasts and YouTube. And these days, a lot of my focus is around group coaching, but the core theme of online education has always been there.
There's so many things. And I don't know that I've shared this with you personally, but I really enjoy how you have enabled me to pursue that, because I've always thought that what do I know? How good is it, what I know, if it's not like a thing, right? It's not a widget. It's not some product. It's not even. And so you've really, what I think, helped invite people to share that and to turn it into something for themselves. And I think what's also really interesting is we probably share the same. I hate playing the same level over again. So we were of similar age, and it was back in the days when video game consoles they would unplug, or you wouldn't get to the checkpoint, or you didn't have the memory card or whatever, and like having to start over. I remember just being like, fine, I'm going outside. Oh, I got to play it over. I'm going to go to the park.
Oh, you're giving me some trauma flashbacks right now. I remember we had on the Nintendo Entertainment System on the NES, we had a McDonald's unless that was on the Sega Genesis, whichever that one that was on. It was a McDonald's video game, which sounds like a dumb idea, but it was actually really fun. And you could play as like Grimace, and you're trying to I don't even remember the character's name, but there was no saves. And so, yes, we did. That was a game where I remember we got really close to finish the game one time, and then somebody tripped over the cord, and it was just this traumatic experience. I'm like, we have to start over. But yeah, so like life is like that. It boggles my mind that as a son, as a father, as an entrepreneur, as a husband, like all these different roles I play in my life, there's no like instruction manual, right? And so a lot of my focus of my own life has been trying to find the instruction manual, or if there isn't one, to learn how to write it. And so even my books are actually usually they're like the missing manual to some part of business that I feel like someone else should have written it, but they didn't, so I wrote it. And so that's worked out pretty well.
What I think would be great for a lot of people who are listening to this podcast, and especially a lot of people that I work with, they are exactly that. They've been in an industry for decades, 10, 20 years, and all of that knowledge has just been accrued in their head. And I think a lot of them underplay that knowledge, and to your point, that wisdom. But then I think also they don't necessarily see what's next. They go, this is how I've been doing my job, and this is what's helped me close deals, or this has help us do what up until this point. And they think that's all that it is. What are they missing, or what are they not seeing about those years of experience, and especially maybe technology and the internet? Maybe that sort of opened up some things. But I feel like a lot more people are coming online to the opportunity of utilizing and leveraging that, to your vocab, wisdom, for good, right? Whether that's their own personal gain or starting a brand or business or whatever it may be.
Yeah. So the first thing, it all comes down to usefulness, candidly, right? So there are plenty of people that say, okay, I have wisdom. Now I just want to vomit it all over the internet and hope it helps somebody. And that's not what I'm talking about, right? There are people that come candidly that come to the conclusion like, oh, I have all this wisdom, I want to share it. And they just share everything. And as much as there's a good like desire under the hood there to help people, you have to do this extra work of figuring out, where is what I know useful to solving a real problem? Who are the real people that have a real problem that I have the real solution to. That's like the core of, that's honestly just like the core of any business, but specifically in online education business, you have to get even more clear in that, because that's all you got. It's all you got is you're helping real people solve a real problem with some sort of real solution. So one of the things that I first recommend is usually to take a wisdom inventory, because I'll just to define wisdom a little bit further here. Wisdom is both knowledge and experience. And so what a lot of people have is a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. We're looking for those overlap. And so let me explain what this means. If you have a lot of knowledge about something, but you have not done it, you have book smarts. If you have a lot of experience about something, but you haven't studied it, you have street smarts. Wisdom is where you have both done it and studied it, right? You have both knowledge and experience. And so that is like a unique overlap, right? And so part of this also comes for me from my college experience, where I had all these professors who were teaching me these things that they never done. And that was really frustrating, right? Because I was like, what about this? And they're like, I don't know. I've never been outside the classroom. And you're like, that's not useful.
Can I throw the counter example? Because I always get that. But then what might you say to someone who goes, what's the value? If I've got all the street smarts, what's the value of the book smarts?
Yeah. I think in this case, it's your ability to understand not just that something worked, but why it worked. Because, for example, there's actually a lot of books and a lot of podcasts that are just somebody sharing their street smarts. They're like, I did this thing. I ran this. I was on TikTok in the first 6 months after it was in the US, and I went viral, and I'm massively successful. And if you buy my program, you can be like me. But when you actually start digging into it, you realize they actually don't know why they were successful. They just happened to land on a viral moment at the right time. And that's just not useful. So when we're talking about knowledge transfer, we really are talking about wisdom transfer. You have to have both, right?